in chapter 21. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech the Philistine, and oops, that was real good. And Philco, I was going to call them Philistines at the same time. Yeah. Philistines. The commander of his army spoke to Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. Funny they noticed that.
Yeah.
Now therefore swear to me by God that you will not deal falsely with me, with my offspring, or with my posterity, but that according to the kindness that I have done to you, you will do to me and to the land in which you have dwelt. And Abraham said, I will swear. Now, this guy gave land to Abraham, correct?
Yeah.
For him to dwell in and such. And, every time, of course, every time I think about Philistines, they're the bad guys.
Yeah.
But in this particular moment, they're not the bad guys yet.
No.
There's been a good relationship between Abimelech and Abraham. The fact that Abraham's allowed, which kind of sounds odd too, but he's allowed to dwell in the land.
Yeah.
The land that God has given him.
Yeah.
Abimelech is allowing this. And Abraham, he sees this, and he's blessed him previously, and now we're, Abimelech is making sure that Abraham understands that he doesn't want him to, I guess, like counteract the promise, making sure that don't come against me, if you find weak spots or whatever with your army. He's trying to keep his people safe at the same time allowing Abraham to be in there.
I mean, like I said, even after the debacle 2 chapters ago, when several years have gone by now, but God had warned and punished Abimelech for Abraham and Sarah's misdoings, misrepresentation of their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And if it was Egypt, the same thing happened in Egypt, and the Pharaoh kicked them out because the king, the sovereign, can't take a woman as his wife and then return her to a commoner. That would cause all sorts of social upheaval. So the Pharaoh did what was smart in his eyes, and Abimelech does the opposite, which is interesting.
He gave him.
He said, "Come on, live here."
Right. Gave him land. Gave him animals, servants.
Gave Sarah a huge.
Oh yeah, the 1,000 silver shekels.
Yeah.
Which was way above a normal price.
Yeah. Which is interesting when you put these two events side by side, with the opening verse here saying that the king Abimelech and his commander of his army spoke to Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I already made this joke once, but if the president, especially let's say a Middle Eastern president or king, the Turkish president, summoned me, and I was greeted by him and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Let's just say my whitey tighties would not go home clean. So it's a serious. It's potentially very serious.
Mm-hmm.
The consequences could be death. But he starts by acknowledging and kind of breaks the tension by saying, God is with you in all that you do. Like, even though you're a scoundrel,
for lying to me, yeah,
you're a prophet, and God's hand is on you, and everything you do prospers. Abraham, as we've seen,
Mhm.
he's already wealthy beyond imagination for those times, in even for today, in most cases. Um, and he has his own private army. So it's curious that he would even allow him to live there, but he's now forming this alliance and strengthening this alliance, um, by saying, "Hey, let's not go to war. It won't be good for nobody. Just swear to me your fealty." It's like any medieval themed movie, any fantasy movie.
Mhm.
S- Swear your loyalty. Uh, the latest one everybody loved and was ranting and raving about was Game of Thrones. The famous scene when Jon Snow, King of the North, comes before Daenerys Targaryen, and he does not bend the knee, but later on he accepts her as his queen and the whole thing. But that's the idea, bend the knee, accept me as your king. Make sure that your children and your grandchildren and great grandchildren know this, because he says, "You're not going to touch me, not going to touch my offspring, you're not going to touch my posterity, not posterity."
Yeah.
Uh, I almost said prostate. Um,
That's
don't touch
another
my
problem.
prostate. Um, so, and this is interesting because Abraham says, "I will swear. I swear I'm not going to stir up any trouble for you, and I'm gonna." And the this oath becomes binding on his descendants, the children of Israel later on, where God does not initially tell them to conquer the Philistine lands, even though it's part of their inheritance. Um, he even, on the way out of Egypt during the Exodus, he takes them a different route so that they don't encounter the Philistines, so that there's no war there. And the idea is, if they see war, they might turn around and go back to Egypt. That's the reason given. But this is in preparation for that. Basically saying, okay, y'all have no beef with the Philistines, and don't start none. There won't be none.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh, and also the fact that if the Philistines aren't against them, this allows Israel to be built up stronger and stronger, so to speak,
Yeah.
uh, so that they're not a very small nation. Now they're a bigger nation when things start happening. And like you said, he guides them around the Philistines because there's no purpose in going through their land because you know they're being punished anyway. So why punish the Philistines with them traveling through their land? And like you said, if they did start a war, they may run back or whatever. But uh,
Yeah.
the God's the perfect general. He knows exactly where he's got to have people.
Yeah.
And going through the Philistine area would have been a miscalculation of tactics
Yeah.
at that time period. He's more interested in getting his people back to following him
Yeah.
without any other conflict coming into play.
Yeah.
Uh, that's how I see it.